The New York Giants just proved they are way ahead of schedule. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul, and this is Big Apple Sports. Tune in here daily for news, insights, analysis. If you are a fan of New York Giants football, don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I got a ton more Giants content coming out, so don't miss out. Now let's talk about our New York football Giants. So obviously they drafted a new QB this year. Jackson Dart, he's the future, and I think we're kind of expecting this to be a multiple-year rebuild. And, I'm not promising Super Bowl this year or anything, but I think as we watch this team in training camp and in joint practices this week with the Jets, I think we can see that they are ahead of schedule, and there is one thing they have that is going to make them dangerous this year, and that is their pass rush. Now, let's specifically look at, I got Zach Rosenblatt. He is a Jets reporter, and he was raving about the Giants' pass rush today. He starts, man, Brian Burns is good, giving both Jets tackles issues. Just had another would-be sack on Justin Fields. Next tweet followed by another possible sack from Kayvon Thibodeau. I think if we scroll a little higher, you see Jets offense didn't exactly move the ball. Another Brian Burns sack right here. That is basically all we were hearing out of the joint practice today is Brian Burns sack, Brian Burns sack, Brian Burns sack. Now, obviously, we're very familiar with Brian Burns. He had a solid year last year. 8.5 sacks is, not quite where I think Giants fans were hoping that he would be. But if you look at hurries, which is another good stat to gauge, how much pressure an edge rusher is getting, he actually was 6th in the entire NFL, behind only Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, Carl Granderson, Jonathan Greenard, and Chris Jones. But in front of guys like Max Crosby and Jared Verse, who are getting talked about a lot more than Brian Burns is. He is a star. He had a 12.5 sack season with the Panthers a couple years ago, and he was still getting home last year. He just didn't quite complete the sack as much as you would like him to. But, my goodness, obviously we know Dexter Lawrence, best defensive tackle in the NFL. Brian Burns looks like he's gotten even better in this offseason to be a stud. And then, of course, we got Abdul Carter. I don't have the tweet pulled up for it, but I know there were Jets players who were raving about how good Abdul Carter is. He's planning on getting lots of sacks. He even came out and said he's not even going to get his hair cut till he gets a sack, because I think he probably knows it's going to be week 1. But this pass rush, I haven't even talked about Kayvon Thibodeau. I know he hasn't exactly lived up to the hype, but I think with all these pieces coming together, like, if you're a team, building your offensive game plan, you'd love to be like, okay, we need to have 2 guys on Dexter Lawrence. But that means you got 1 guy on Brian Burns. Like, you can't double team every one of these guys. And then not only that, but with Abdul Carter and Thibodeau and Burns, they're going to be able to kind of give each other rest. They're going to be more fresh, and they are going to wreak havoc on offensive lines. Now, last year, it looks like they finished 10th in the NFL in total sacks. I don't know who's going to beat them there this year. A lot of these teams, Broncos, Ravens, Cowboys, Texans, Vikings, obviously they have good pass rushers, but nobody is as deep on the D-line as the Giants are. I think the secondary is going to be pretty solid this year, and that means QBs are going to be forced to hold on to the ball longer, and then guys like Burns and Abdul Carter and Lawrence and Thibodeau are going to be getting there even more frequently. And if you look at their schedule, just the way it breaks down, for one, yeah, they have a tough schedule this year and a lot of good quarterbacks. They're going to start right off the bat with Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert. That, Dak, obviously some people like to hate on him, but The other three, absolute stars, two of the best QBs in the league, in Jaden Daniels and Pat Mahomes. Like, the only way to slow down quarterbacks like that is to get in their face. And then what I noticed too about their schedule is there's going to be a lot of young quarterbacks. Like, Jaden Daniels obviously looked amazing last year, but we got to remember he's only going to be a sophomore this upcoming year, year two. Like, CJ Stroud looked incredible his rookie year, and then with a little worse O-line play, took a big step back last year. And then I think, he's struggled with some receiver injuries this year. I mean, you're seeing Terry McLaurin is threatening to hold out. They're struggling with his contract. They added Debo, but gosh, the guy, he really hasn't been the prime Debo in a couple years. I don't think he's going to be that impressive. And then after that, like, they lost De'Ami Brown, they lost Olamide Zaccheaus. Like, they don't have much receiver depth. They're one injury or one holdout away from having probably the worst receiving unit in the NFL. So if you got the Giants pinning their ears back and coming after Jaden Daniels, like, that's going to be big. And then looking through the rest of their schedule, like, New Orleans is going to probably be starting Tyler Shaw, maybe I'm blanking on his name, the other guy they have in his second or third year, don't know why I'm blanking on his name here, but like Broncos, they're going to have year 2 Bo Nix, year 2 Caleb Williams, and then even guys like Jordan Love, Jared Goff, like, those are solid QBs, but they're both quarterbacks who, like, they need to have everything going perfectly around them. You saw Jared Goff in the NFC Championship game last year throw, was it 4 interceptions? Like, when he is under pressure, he struggles big time. Then you got year 2 Drake May, really just a rookie in J.J. McCarthy here. I know it's technically his year 2, but, like, there are a lot of first and second year quarterbacks on this Giants schedule, and if you have a D-line that is in the QB's face all game, you're going to see them make mistakes. And then obviously, hopefully the offense is improved. I think, if Russ starts all year, I think he's going to be better than what Daniel Jones has been and Tommy DeVito has been. And obviously, we're all hoping Jackson Dart takes the job eventually, and everything we've heard about him has been incredibly positive. With Malik Neighbors and Darius Slayton, we got a solid wide receiver corps. The offensive line, hopefully Andrew Thomas can get healthy, but I think there's a lot more depth there this year with Marcus Bowe coming in and looking really good in camp. And I think this team can surprise some people. Like, lots of good teams on their schedule, lots of good quarterbacks, but if there's one thing that can push a team ahead of schedule and start winning games nobody expects them to win, it's a pass rush that absolutely disrupts the quarterback, and the Giants have that this year. And I think, like I said, I'm not promising a Super Bowl, I'm not even going to promise playoffs, but I think they are going to be a team who gives opponents fits. There's going to be teams who are overlooking the Giants on the schedule, thinking they're rebuilding, and I think they're going to be surprised when their quarterback is on their back all game and they find themselves in a tough game with the New York Giants. So let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments. Who do you think is going to lead the Giants in sacks this year? I could see it being Burns. I could see it being Lawrence. I could see it being Abdul Carter. Drop me your predictions and let me know how you think the Giants are going to do this year, and we will catch you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. Got lots more Giants content coming.